Almost everything you've been taught about sex is a lie. They stripped it of its true power, reduced it to a sham, labeled it a sin, or turned it into cheap entertainment. We scroll past it, joke about it, use it, regret it, repeat. But what if sex was never meant to be casual? What if your body remembers every touch, every exchange, every spiritual contract? What if sex is not just a physical act, but a spiritual transmission? A sacred fire meant to awaken, not numb? This isn't a video about abstinence or indulgence. This is a homecoming back to your power, back to the ancient truth that was hidden from you. Welcome to the lost teachings of sex and spirituality. You're not just about to learn something, you're about to remember. They told us sex is sinful or meaningless, or both. But long before religion wrapped it in shame, and long before society reduced it to likes, lust, and late-night cravings, sex was a sacrament. In the temples of ancient Kemet, sex wasn't hidden in shadows. It was studied, revered, and practiced as a way to commune with the divine. It was a cosmic act, the margin of polarities, masculine and feminine, solar and lunar, heaven and earth. In Tantra, the union of two lovers was a spiritual practice, a sacred ritual where breath and energy flowed like prayer, not for pleasure alone, but for awakening, not for escape, but for embodiment. They say, your body is a temple, but we've forgotten how to treat it that way. We've been taught to either worship the flesh blindly or despise it entirely. But the ancient knew, the body is not the prison of the soul, it's the chalice, the holy grail. And sex, sacred sex, was a ritual of light poured into that chalice. You see, sex isn't just a physical act, it's a mirror. Who you become in sex is often who you are when you are most vulnerable, most raw, most real. Are you present or distracted? Are you giving or you are taking? Are you seeking wholeness or avoiding your own emptiness? In every intimate moment, you are not just touching skin, you are exchanging energy, stories, memories, and wounds. The Egyptians had sexual mystery schools. The theorists taught internal alchemy, how to move sexual energy up the spine to awaken the higher self. In India, tantric texts describe how union, when conscious, could lead to samadhi, which is a bliss of merging the cosmos. Even in indigenous African traditions, sex was part of initiation rites, carefully guarded and never casual. They knew what we've forgotten, that sex is more than sensation, it is invocation, the calling in of spirit, the dance of creation itself. When a woman opens in sacred union, she becomes the portal of life. When a man enters with presence and reverence, he becomes the spark of divinity. Together, they don't just create babies, they create energy fields. They open doors, spiritual, emotional, and essential. And what comes through those doors depends on the consciousness of the union. So what happens when sex is rushed, casual, numb, used? We open doors unconsciously and invite in frequencies we don't even recognize. That's why some people feel lost after sex, empty, or even haunted, because the act wasn't meaningless. It was just misused. But here's the truth. You can reclaim it. You can remember that your sexual energy is sacred, that your body is wise, that your soul is still whispering ancient truth, waiting for you to listen again. And it starts here, by seeing sex not as shameful or shallow, but as the language of the divine. The first step to sexual healing is remembrance. Remember what it once was. Remember what it still can be. Because what was sacred was never truly lost, just forgotten. In the next part, we uncover how your sexual energy is not just sacred, it's creative, the force behind your ideas, your charisma, your magnetism, and how the greatest minds of history used it to shape reality. So stay with me. Sexual energy is not just about pleasure, it is power, the raw current of creation itself. Think about it. From a single act of sexual union, a life is formed, a heart beats, a brain, a soul. That same energy, when not used to create babies, doesn't disappear, it transforms. It creates in other ways. Your ideas, your acts, your voice, your magnetism, your spiritual fire, they are all fueled by the same source, sexual energy. In its higher form, its creative force in motion. The sages of the past did not suppress sexual energy. They did not abuse it either. They transmuted it. They moved it from the lower chakras upward, from raw desire to refined power, into all its alchemy. It's called jink, which means essence. You learn to circulate it through breath and intention, fueling your spirit, not just your body. In yogic science, this energy is kundalini, the coiled serpent at the base of your spine. Awaken it and it rises, bringing visions, genius, and even bliss. In hermetic thought, it is called astral light, which is the invisible magnetism through which all things are shaped. It flows where your energy flows. Every time you hold your desire and don't suppress it, but instead breathe through it, you create space for transformation. That sexual longing, that ache in your belly, that fire behind your eyes, it's not something to feel ashamed of. It's raw divine fuel. The very same current that powers lightning can also light a candle. So when you feel that energy rise, you have a choice: burn it recklessly or use it to build an empire. You've heard the stories. Tesla celebrates radiant, obsessed with frequency. Da Vinci practiced energy with direction through his art. Even monks, mystics, and warriors, they knew that desire, when conscious, becomes focus, becomes vision, becomes genius. Your sexual energy is not your enemy, it's your fuel. And when you learn to direct it inward instead of always outward, you become magnetic. You walk into a room and don't even have to speak. People feel something, a current, a glow. That's the power of creative transmutation. The real spiritual path was never about denial. It was about redirection, turning raw heat into sacred fire, turning longing into purpose, turning chaos into creation. This is the secret of sexual alchemy. In the next segment, we dive even deeper and explore what really happens when two people come together, not just physically, but energetically. You will learn why sex is never just sex and why every exchange changes your field. Just stay with me. They told you sex is just physical, but your soul always knew better. Because if it were just skin and pleasure, why do you feel so empty after the wrong one touches you? Why do you remember people you tried to forget? Why do some lovers still linger even years after the body has moved on? The truth is simple, yet sacred. Sex is an energy exchange. Every time you sleep with someone, you don't just exchange fluids, you exchange energy. You entangle your auric fields, your traumas, your desires, your ancestors, your karma. You open portals, and through those portals, things enter: ideas, beliefs, emotions, entities. And some of them don't leave. Your body might forget, but your energy field remembers. The masculine gives, the feminine receives, but both absorb, both store, both become altered. In every act of sex, a magnetic field is created, stronger than words, deeper than emotions. This is why sacred sex rituals were guarded in mystery schools, because they knew when your body becomes a temple, you don't let just anyone worship there. That's the lie, that we can just hook up with no impact, that we can let someone into the most intimate, energetic part of us and walk away the same. But here's the truth: there's no such thing as casual sex in the spiritual world. Your field gets reshaped every time. sometimes lighter, sometimes darker, but always altered. That's why some people become addicted to certain lovers, not because of compatibility, but because of energetic dependency. You feel pulled toward them, even when you know they drain you. That's not chemistry, that's energetic entanglement. Sometimes, healing your sexual energy feels like grief, like something breaking loose inside you. Because when you start clearing the energies of those who never actually honored you, you realize how much of yourself you gave away just to feel something, and that is okay. This is not about regrets. This is about awakening. Awakening to the power of your energy. Awakening to the spiritual weight of intimacy. Awakening to the truth that you are sacred. When two conscious beings meet in intimacy, not to take, not to nub, but to merge in presence and reverence, they don't just have sex, they create light. That is what the ancients meant by Eros Gamos, the sacred marriage. Two souls remembering they are divine, not lost in lust, but found in connection. In the next segment, we explore how to protect, heal, and elevate your sexual energy, especially if you've been wounded, used, or feel disconnected from your body's power. Because awareness is just the beginning. Now comes the reclamation. The wounds we carry in our sexuality are often the deepest because they're the wounds of the soul. You were never meant to be touched without reverence, never meant to be forgotten after being entered, never meant to carry ghosts in your womb or echoes in your chest, but it has happened to many through trauma, betrayal, abandonment, or numbness. And now you are here not to relieve it, but to transcend it. The first step is to acknowledge the wound. We must first say it. Many of us were never taught that sexual experiences leave energetic fingerprints. So we lived, we survived, we gave ourselves away in exchange for attention, or power, or love we never truly received. But now you know. And when you know better, you reclaim what they said was lost forever. Because nothing sacred is ever truly broken, only buried. The second step is to cleanse and clear the energy body. Sexual wounds are stored in the lower chakras, which are the roots, the sacral, and solar plexus. You may feel it as fear of intimacy, lack of desire or over-sexualization, energetic fatigue, repeating toxic cycles, shame you cannot explain. This is your body speaking, telling you it's time to release. How? Breathe work to cleanse stored energy, meditation on your womb or pelvic region, salt bath, grounding rituals, sound healing, energetic cord cutting, especially from past partners, journaling and forgiveness practices, Reiki, Tantra, or sacred movements. You don't need to relieve the pain. You just need to feel through it consciously and let it go. The third step is to protect what is sacred. Once you begin to heal, you will realize you are precious. Your energy is rare. Your body is a gateway between spirit and matter. Not everyone deserves access to that. You begin to say no, not from fear, but from self-honoring. You choose partners who match your frequency. You speak truth before pleasure. You call your power back before giving yourself away. Your sensuality is no longer a currency, it is a crown. The fourth step is to cultivate sacred sovereignty. To protect your sexual energy means to know your boundaries, your yes and your no, your worth. It means knowing that even when you are celibate, you are not lacking. You are storing, you are rebuilding your magnetic field, and when you choose to merge again, you will do it with eyes open, heart steady, spirit aligned. Because your body is no longer a battlefield, it is a temple, and the goddess or your god in you has returned to guard the gates. In the next segment, we enter the highest initiation, the transmutation of sexual energy into spiritual flow. How to turn longing into light and desire into destiny. Stay with me, the alchemy begins now. Desire is not the enemy, it is the compass of the soul. But left unconscious, it becomes addiction. Channeled with awareness, it becomes destiny. This is the essence of sexual alchemy. To take that same surge that makes you ache and turn it into a divine current that builds your reality. What is transmutation? This is the spiritual act of you directing sexual energy, not repressing it, not acting it out blindly, but guiding it like a conductor commands electricity. In theories practices, this is called the microcosmic orbit, breathing sexual energy from the base of your spine up to your crown. In hermetic wisdom, it is the act of taking base lead, that is your desire, and turning it to a spiritual good, which is unconscious action, vision, and power. This isn't fantasy, this is inner science. Every time you feel sexual energy rising, your body is generating primal life force. Now you have a choice. Let it spill and feel temporarily satisfied, then drained, or harness it and direct it toward your goals, your art, your vibration. This is not suppression, it is transformation. The same fire that burns the house can forge the sword. When you learn to store and refine this energy, something magnetic begins to happen. Your voice gains power, your aura thickens, your intuition sharpens. People notice you without knowing why. Opportunities seem to gravitate to you because now your field is charged. You are no longer leaking power. You are becoming a lighthouse. Try this when you feel intense desire. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply into your belly. On the inhale, imagine drawing the energy from your roots upward through your spine. On the exhale, feel it fill your heart, your brain, your aura. Visualize your goals. Speak your affirmations. Feel the fire working for you, not against you. This is alchemy in real time, and over time it becomes second nature. You become the master of your fire, no longer ruled by urges, but guided by awareness. You will no longer seek to escape your body, but inhabit it fully. You will no longer let lust control your choices, but fuel your expansion. Desire becomes devotion. Passion becomes prayer. You become a living flame. In this final segment, we rise into the sacred mystery of all, union with divine, through sacred sex, inner wholeness, and the return of the inner sun. If you've made it this far, you're not just curious, you are ready. At the core of your being, beneath the desire for touch, lies the deepest longing of all, to return to wholeness. All this time, you thought sex was about another person. You thought it was about pleasure, or release, or romance. But at its highest level, it has never been about two bodies. It's been about two energies, polarities seeking balance, fire seeking stillness, form seeking the formless. This is sacred union. Let's talk about the inner marriage. You've heard of the masculine and feminine, not as gender, but as energetic principles within you. Masculine, which is focus, direction, structure, and presence. Feminine, which is flow, emotion, creativity, and surrender. When these are divided, you chase others to complete you. When they are united, you become complete. This is what the alchemists call the Eros Gamos, the sacred marriage. It happens not in the bed first, but in the soul, first within, then without. When you unify your inner polarities, something ancient awakens. The sexual energy, once chaotic, becomes clear. You are no longer pulled by desire, you carry it, calm, electric, alive. Now when you enter intimacy, it becomes a ceremony, a ritual of truth. Two souls mirroring God in each other, because that is what sacred sex is. A divine mirror, where two flames reflect the infinite flame. When you transmute fully, when your masculine and feminine all ends inside you, You no longer need sex, but when you choose it, it becomes transcendent. Your body becomes a cathedral, your breath a ritual, your gaze a portal. This is the state of the inner sun, radiant, magnetic, oh. You walk differently, you speak from power, you attract not from hunger, but from overflow. The most irresistible person is not the most sexual, but the most integrated. They carry peace in their hips, truth in their tongue, light in their loins. Their energy fills the room because they stop giving it away blindly. They become a source, not a seeker. That is who you are becoming. Not a slave to desire, but a master of your own divine flame. If you watch this video to this point, you are not here by accident. You are remembering a truth that was never lost, only buried beneath distraction and distortion. So let this be your calling, to treat energy as sacred, to honor your fire, to walk as living temple. Let your sexual energy become light. Let your body become a prayer. Let your life become an altar. You're not broken, you are becoming. Now go and burn like the inner sun.